Venus under wraps. Alrighty, but before I unveil her, okay, we need to build a frame because I'm having a naked art show. And she needs to be dressed up in a frame, okay? So let's do it. Okay, I've got my lumber here. I've got some pre-primed pine, which will be just fine for this. And then we're going to be making a box frame, so I want this to be resting on something, and this masonite panel will be just perfect. So we're going to take the masonite and put it next to the blade, alrighty, and we're going to make that level. Perfect, okay, so I think that'll work. Fabulous. And then we're going to put up our fence, because we're only going to go in maybe about 1/4 of an inch. Woo! There we go. Fabulous. Okay, so now let's put on the safety glasses and let's get milling. Woo! But actually first, I think we should work on the length. All right, because sometimes when the boards are long, they're a little hard to manage. What? Actually, that sounds pretty good. But what I mean is they're difficult to manage, alrighty? So what I'm going to do is cut these down to a length a little bit longer than what we want for our frame pieces. Alrighty, and then we'll do our milling. Woo! It looks like we're grooving now. Fabulous, we've got ourselves a channel cut out into the board. Alrighty, so now what we need to do is cut out a notch. Alrighty, and so let's line up the fence to what distance that will be. And I'm guessing that's about 3/8 of an inch. Let's put on the regular glasses. Alrighty, make sure we can see what we're doing here. Alright, perfect. There we go, line it up nice and snug. Oh yes, and press down on the fence so it's nice and secure. I like it. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's put back on the safety glasses. Alrighty, so now let's cut the length. Alright, so now we've got the exterior frame pieces cut, and that's fabulous. So now what we need to do is cut out some 6-inch strips, alright, from this masonite panel. Oh yeah. Okay, so I've got my saw set up with the guard at 6 inches. Alright, that's such a nice average, isn't it? Alright, so let's cut some panel. That was a good time. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is get down on top of this frame. I'm going to clamp it and nail it. Progress. That was so let's take the 6-inch strip, alright? I'm just gonna press this into the notched area. I know it's gonna fit perfectly. But we've got to be careful, okay? Because we're gonna lube it up with some glue. Alrighty. And to make sure it doesn't slip out, I'm gonna hold it tight. Alright, and then nail it. down there. Okay, we're gonna take these two boards, alrighty, and we're gonna merge them together. Okay, we're just gonna take a little wood joiner, give them a good pounding, and just hammer it so these two are just stuck together, okay? Alright, well, let's do it. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of get going with the chisel and just kind of get a little groove for it to sit into. Woo, there we go. Okay. Now let's just hammer it. Oh. Okay, those two are not going to separate. Woo! So somehow I feel all energized now. But unfortunately I've got to let this frame go to sleep for about 24 hours, alright? Before I can actually work it up again. Woo! Yes, it is a new day. Alrighty, I'm ready to handle my frame again. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is lift it up off the floor, use my hand sander, give it a little full body rub down, alrighty, before we spread on the color. Fabulous. Okay, so now we're ready to go with the vacuuming. Okay, let's get rid of all that dust. And then, ooh, we're going to be painting the outside of this frame orange. I know, it doesn't go with the painting. I'll explain why later. Now we're going to do the interior flat black. Woo! Here we go. Okay, and the paint is completely dry now. That's fabulous, okay? And we did the flat black on the inside because, you know, we want Venus to be floating in space, right? And then the outside we did the bright orange because, well, frankly it doesn't really match the painting, but the reason I did that is because we're going to be doing a wood grain look, alright? Yes, and I know I did buy wood even though it was pre-primed, so we kind of covered up the grain, so we got to bring it back. So let's do it, okay? I've got my glazing medium right here. We've got the, it's about 1 part paint, 3 parts glaze. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of smear it on, make sure I cover the whole surface. Alrighty. And we're using a satin base so the paint will not absorb into it and it allows us to manipulate the glazing medium. Alrighty, then I'm just going to take a brush, not a very good brush actually, which is nice, and do kind of an irregular thing, alright? I don't know, just kind of paint it like you've had a little too much to drink. That's one way to do it, okay? So there we go, we've got wavy pattern going with our irregular brush. Now there is, you can also create a little wood grain, you can kind of draw it in. Alright, and go over it again. And then as this sets up, what we're going to do is just kind of soften it a little bit. Okay? And then you can brush down a little bit, create a little more character in the wood, and then brush it back again horizontally to soften it. Okay, we're going to do this all the way around. So next what we're going to do is dress up this top edge of the molding. Alrighty, and to do that we're going to put on some copper leafing. And to get started we need to put on some adhesive sizing. So I'm going to brush this on, let it dry for about 60 minutes, and then we're going to put on the leafing. Fabulous. Alright, perfect. Everything's dry, now we're ready to go. So I've got my leafing here. Oh, this is so much fun. We're going to make sure we have clean, dry hands. Alright, we don't want to be sticky when we're working with this stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do is take off a sheet, and it's only going to stick where it is been glued. Okay? Woo, it's such a sensual experience working with this copper paper film. Alright, so next what we're going to do is go around the edges and use our brush and just kind of clean up the edges. Remember, the copper's only going to stick to where we had the glue. Okay, so now let's finish it off. We're going to put on a little polyurethane over the leafing. Alrighty, and I've tinted mine actually with a little bit of yellow tint. Okay, it's just going to shift the color ever so slightly and dull it just a smidgen. All right, to get it where I want it. Woo! Yes, indeed. I think it's time we take off the plastic dress. Woo! And put this goddess to bed in her new frame. All righty, let's do it. There we go, we've got her lying down in bed. Alrighty, so now it's time to get underneath. Alright, screw her from behind. Oh, perfect, okay, I've got myself in there. Alrighty. She fits perfectly. Alrighty, and it wasn't so much work. Alright, and you can see this painting live, amongst others, at the Erotic Heritage Museum, month of May, in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you like what I do here, I'd really love it if you'd toss me a tip or something. It's just a simple tip for what I do. Alright, because what I am is pretty much a one-woman production company doing everything, all of it, and I'm doing it merely for the joy of it. But I can't keep this up without your support. I'm here asking you please for your help. Lots of things to do here. But I'm not going to take my time and effort into building this show around if I don't get your support, so I'm asking you for your help here. So what I've done to make this easy is I've teamed up with Patreon.com, and there's several silly bonuses there, and there's a donate button on my website. So there's different options. So Barbara can put on her hard hat, alrighty, and do the exciting things that she wants to do to this house, and create a silly ass show for you that teaches you a few things.